back to the Lovin Experience Abu Dhabi show. Today's guest is Dina Taji, a true animal lover and hero for kittens in Dubai. We're here to talk to her about her mission to save strays in the city. Welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so much for having me. And it's so important that you have me here to really raise awareness about the rescuing here in strays in the UAE. So thank you so much.
We're excited to have you on.
Yes, thank you so much for being here since I'm a cat person and I love cats. So
I'm not, but I still support your cause.
Dog person, yeah?
I mean, I'm just an animal person, but in general, what made you start rescuing cats? Because we know that you are more in the fitness journey.
So when I was a child, I always loved animals, especially my father. He would always tell me stories from the Quran and about Abu Huraira. And he'd tell me, come every morning, let's go feed the birds. And he'd feed a little cat and all of that. So I was always an animal lover. And when I came here, I've been here for 17 years now. So this is my home. But I never realized the amount of strays that were everywhere. I'd see maybe a cat that's at the supermarket and I'd go to the supermarket, get it, and always come by and give it food. So what happened was I was having a little bit of health issues. I had this lack of circulation of blood in my arms and legs, and they were starting to get numb. And I was like, that's weird. I'm super fit. I work out every day. But I was also on the computer a lot of the times because I was studying at the time. So I went to this Chinese medical center and they scan your body. And it pops up on the screen and it lets you know everything about your body. And they told me, they're like, you have lack of circulation in your arms and legs. And I didn't even tell them. So I was like, oh my God. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get rid of my car and I'm going to start cycling to work. It's only 20 minutes away. So when I started cycling, I started seeing cats along the way. So I started taking cat food with me and started feeding them. And then I started enjoying cycling so much. So I started going all around Dubai. I'd go all the way to Kite Beach. I'd go all the way down Jumeirah. I'd go all around Al Quoz because I lived in Al Barsha. So, and then I just started seeing more and more and more. So I'd carry one backpack here, and just like, and they would all wait for me. So I'd go from 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock, I'd pray Fajr, and I'd be like, okay, my first fitness class is at 6 a.m. So I'm going to go early because I realized that's when the cats come out even more. And they'd all run towards the bicycle. And I'm like, oh my God. So then I started seeing sick cats and I'm like, oh, wow. And it's like really bad. They're really sick sometimes because they're living under the worst conditions. It's very hot. They're dehydrated. Their body's shutting down. So little by little, I'd put one in my bag. I would even film it. I'd start putting it on my chest right here and started taking them to the vet. And then that's really how it all started. And then it just grew from there.
How interesting that a change in habit could essentially change your life and your passion.
Oh my God, it did actually, it did.
I think feeding in particular isn't recommended here. It's not legal here in the UAE.
I think people kind of misinterpret that because, this is an Islamic country. They love animals. And it's a very clean, hygienic country. They really take care of their environment. I think the problem is raised because of the communities where people are just putting wet food everywhere and they put plates and the plates, get blown away by the wind and then it attracts a lot of rats. And you have children playing and running around in the playgrounds and it's not clean. So I think this is where it originates from because they see me all the time. They have no problem because they see I'm cleaning and I'm putting it away and I'm not causing any problems and stuff like that. So I think this is the main issue.
So as a cat lover, I love cats. And whenever I see a stray cat as well, I do tend to have, like a pack of like food, just to like feed the cat, specifically like, at a certain area where a cat all the time waits for me. So what do you advise? Like sometimes because we cannot take the cat back home, my mom is not a cat person. What can we do if, let's say, I find a stray cat and I just want to give it away to, like, I don't know, I can't take it. What can I do in that case?
So let's kind of categorize things on how we can try to solve this problem. You have your rescuing, you have your feeding, and you have your adopting. So when it comes to rescuing, the most important thing is to try to focus on solving the problem of this overpopulation of stray cats. So what we do is we call it TNR. So we try to start TNR programs. That means you trap the cat, you get it neutered, which is castrated so that it doesn't have babies, which in the beginning I was totally against. But then when you start to see dead kittens everywhere constantly, you're like, oh my God, they're really struggling to survive on the street. So you're actually doing them a favor by castrating them, and then you release them back to their colony. And this is the most important thing so that we can limit the amount of strays first that's out on the streets. That's the most important thing. Second thing, you have many people with beautiful hearts and would love to be able to help, but they just don't have the finances to be able to do it. They don't have a car, they cannot transport it like you said, or bring it back home to their house. So what you can do is you can join the many different Facebook groups, Instagram followers like rescuers that you can follow, communicate with them, get in touch with everyone, because what you can do is you could say, I would love to help this cat that I found, but I don't know what to do. I can't afford to take it to the vet. Is there some way that we can, raise funds or get people to sponsor the treatment or something? And that's where a lot of people reach out to me. And then I also reach out to a lot of rescuers. We're like a team on a group, and we try to help each other out with what we can do. We have one person that's really good at transporting. We have one person that is really good at trapping. You know what I mean? So we work together as a community.
Wow, there is so much there to question, and I want to know who the we is, but also, can you give people an idea? I've heard some shocking statistics before. Yeah. Do you have any idea of the background of number of strays and what happens if TNR isn't done, like what that can mean for the stray population?
Actually, I really can't answer that. I really don't know. Let's just say a lot. It is a lot, especially in the industrial areas as well. That's where the cats suffer the most. But luckily, there's such many beautiful people here in the UAE that are actually doing a lot of rescuing, and many that are not on social media, and you have these older women, they're like, I don't know how to use social media. I'm like, bless your heart, I need to help you and show you how to do it. And they're doing a lot of TNR as well. So there are many people that are involved, but the more people that can get involved, we can actually just solve this problem. So after Eid, I'm putting together a big event at one of my friends. She opened up a vegan restaurant, and I'm going to gather as many people who want to take part so that we can trap as many as we can together at the same time and scatter all the cats around to many different vets all around the UAE so that we can make a big impact in a very fast time frame.
Interesting.
Yes.
So there is this misconception that stray cats are not clean, and when someone wants to get a cat, they go like, oh yeah, this was a street cat, we're not gonna get her. And they tend to buy the cat instead of adopting a cat that was once a stray cat. So do you think the misconception that these stray cats are actually not clean?
Yeah. Subhanallah, mashallah, in the Quran, everything is just so accurate. And when we always go back to the Quran, later we start to realize, okay, now I understand why that was mentioned. And it's mentioned how cats are actually the cleanest animals. And that's why it's okay to have them in your home if they're on your prayer rug and everything. And you don't have to wash up more, to do extra, wudu, if you touch a cat, because they're naturally very clean and they clean themselves actually half of their day. But that's if they're hydrated. So when a cat looks like they have a lot of dirt on them, is because they're very dehydrated. They don't have the saliva to be able to clean themselves. But they don't really carry diseases like that where it's contagious to humans. There is like ringworm, where it can go with cream, and that is contagious, but everything else is usually from one cat to another, not from a cat to a human. So by solving the problem of the overpopulated strays, we have to avoid buying cats from the pet shops, because this is just creating more breeders, and this is the problem. Many of them, if they're not getting bought, they end up getting dumped on the street and so forth. So that's why it's very important to try to save a life.
It just feels like it's this constant
cycle that's never ending.
Exactly.
So we have to get to the core of the problem.
Your event sounds really interesting, but for someone who's never done it, what does trap mean in the TNR cycle?
Trap means you got to try to catch it. Because these cats, they've probably been abused and kicked, and they don't know. They never had that interaction with a human and been loved and hugged, so they don't know. So that's why they get very scared when you come close to them. So you have to have people where you put cages and the food is in the cage. They either walk in it. You have drop traps so that you pull the rope when they get close by. Or you have people that are very, professionals with gloves and they can grab it. So that's why you need people who are experienced in that, because they'll get scared. They can bite you. They can scratch you, which will hurt. It may not, spread any disease, but, it's scary. Yeah, so that's what it means. It means you trap the cat, you catch it, you take it to the vet, which is very affordable. You get charity rates for like 100 dirham to 200 dirham to neuter the cat, and that's it. But if you're getting a lot of them and you do a TNR program, they give you a great price and you do it together, and it can go from 50 dirham. And a lot of the vets actually sponsor it as well and do it for free.
Wow.
Yes.